Okay, let's talk about one of the most maddening experiences for any creator. You know the one. You pour everything into your work, you follow all the so-called best practices, and then nothing. Just silence. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on why being perfectly understood by an algorithm might be the very thing that's making you invisible.
You did everything you were supposed to do, right? You checked every single box. Your titles were optimized, your tags were perfect, the descriptions were on point.
And it wasn't just the technical stuff. The content itself was great. Your production quality was high, your message was clear and valuable, and you were even consistent with it. And the result? Crickets. No impressions, no new reach, not even a thumbs down. Just a void. And you know what? That silence isn't an accident. It's a calculated decision by the system. So why? Why does good, quality content just seem to vanish into thin air? The answer is probably not what you're thinking. It has almost nothing to do with people ignoring you and everything to do with the machine understanding you perfectly.
So this brings us to the first big idea we really have to get our heads around, what I call the myth of suppression. See, most creators, when their content flatlines, they tell themselves one of two stories.
On the one hand, you have what we believe is happening. I'm being silenced, or the classic, the algorithm just hates me. But the algorithmic reality is something way less personal, and in a way, much more chilling. The system isn't angry at you. It's just certain. It's certain about you, and your behavior has become predictable.
This, right here, is the single most important sentence you need to understand. Modern recommendation systems are not designed to punish bad content. They are designed to punish predictable behavior. Think about it. If a system is 100% sure what will happen when it shows your content to someone, it has absolutely no incentive to explore it any further. Certainty, not quality, is what kills reach.
And this is what I call the predictability trap. We have to be really clear about what these algorithms are actually built to do. Their primary goal isn't to educate you or to make the world a better place. It's all about one thing.
And that thing is prediction confidence. At every millisecond of every day, the system is asking itself a question. How sure am I about what will happen if I show this piece of content to this user? If the system already knows the answer with a high degree of confidence, it learns nothing new. And these systems don't waste energy and resources on things they're already certain about. They spend them on exploration, on figuring out the unknown.
So how does it get so confident? Well, it's not watching your videos like a person. It's a cold statistical process. It's mapping your topic boundaries, charting your emotional range, timing your pacing patterns, measuring the consistency of your viewers' behavior, and even predicting how much your different audiences overlap. It is literally building a statistical clone of you. And once it has enough data, once it feels like it's solved you, you get placed into what you can imagine as a behavioral container. Now here's the kicker. Content inside a container doesn't get explored, it just gets maintained. It's served to the same small, expected audience over and over, and your impressions just quietly collapse. There's no penalty flag thrown, just containment.
Now, this is where it all gets really painful and honestly kind of backwards. This is the reason that doing everything right can sometimes be the absolute worst thing for your content's reach. I mean, seriously, think about it. Have you ever made something that you knew was your absolute best work? It was technically perfect, the message was crystal clear, and it just died. Poof, gone. Why does that happen?
It happens because high quality, at least in the way we creators think about it, often translates to highly predictable for the algorithm. It's cleanly optimized. It has a super clear message, a very specific audience, and a predictable outcome. You've basically handed the algorithm the answer key to the test.
This lays it out perfectly. Your clean content gets put in its box almost instantly. But messy content, the stuff that's maybe a little weird, emotionally all over the place, or just plain confusing, that actually breaks the prediction model. And that confusion is a good thing. It triggers a test, and that test is what sparks new impressions. Your problem might not be that your content lacks value, it might be that it has too much clarity.
Okay, so that's the diagnosis, and yeah, it sounds a little bleak, but how do we actually fix it? How do you break out of that container and become visible again? Well, it's not about trying to perform better, it's about learning how to misbehave. Statistically, of course. So here's your new playbook. First, blend your categories. Talk about two things the system would never expect to see together. Force it to reevaluate where you belong. Second, break your pacing. If you're always super energetic and fast, slow down for a bit. If you're always calm, throw in some chaos. Disrupt your own patterns. Third, delay the payoff. Don't give away the whole point in the first 30 seconds. Make the outcome less certain. And fourth, the overall goal. Just refuse to be easily labeled. Make the system work for it.
This quote really sums up the entire mental shift you have to make. You need to stop asking, will my core audience approve of this, and start asking, will the system immediately understand this? Because if the answer to that second question is yes, you might need to go back to the drawing board and inject a little more chaos.
So let's go back to that initial feeling of frustration. You weren't punished, you weren't rejected, you weren't shadow banned, the algorithm doesn't hate you, it just figured you out. It solved you. And once a puzzle is solved, what do? You put it back on the shelf. You're no longer a mystery to be explored.
And that leaves us with the one question you should be asking yourself from now on. The real path to visibility isn't about being better or louder or more polished. It's about being less predictable. Because the very moment the algorithm stops being certain about you is the moment everyone else finally starts to see you.